So firstly, choose a flat, level surface. Some of the parts are flexible, and it helps to have a flat, level surface to stand them on during assembly. Ideally, any soft surface is good to avoid scratching the coating on the metal surfaces. Now, when you unbox the panels, you will find that they are also coated in an additional plastic sheet, and this is to avoid scratching. And the instructions say to remove this before assembly. Now, I've chosen to leave mine on for the time being. I've chosen to assemble mine on the lawn, and if you do the same, I think it's a good idea to give it a mow beforehand so that you're not doing it in long grass. And I'm also using one of those rubberized garage mats, but that's not absolutely necessary. My opinion is that this raised bed is movable after assembly, so there's no reason why you couldn't assemble it on your garage floor or somewhere else, on a carpet or a rug, and then move it in place. Firstly, carefully open the box and check the contents. Be aware that not all configurations come with the cross braces that you see here, just the larger ones. Vegega provide gloves, and I would recommend the use of gloves because there are some sharp edges. However, I must confess that I disposed of the gloves when I got into bolting the panels together because I kept dropping the nuts. And if you're going to do the same as me, please take extra care with the sharp edges. The product does come with instructions, and they are clear and easy to understand. I assembled mine alone, and it took me about an hour, and that includes moving the camera around for filming. The job could be done more quickly with more than one person. The nuts and bolts can be quite fiddly in your fingers, so if you have a low patience threshold, build in some time for a tea break. Now, happily, the sun came out the day I assembled mine. Despite the fact that it's only April and the sun's rays are not that strong, I put my hat on. You have to protect your skin. My raised beds are white, a creamy white colour, and there are a range of other colours and configurations on the Vegega website. Make sure you put the colour on the outside. In addition to the wrench which is provided, I would suggest having both a small flat-headed screwdriver and a cross-headed screwdriver. The wrench is provided, the screwdrivers are not provided, but most households have these. If you decide to use a powered screwdriver, as I did, I would set the torque to a low setting to avoid over-tightening the nuts. Once you've checked the contents, lay them all out on the floor, and again, take care with the sharp edges. I emptied all the nuts and bolts into a chug to keep them together and to give me ease of handling during assembly. It is a little bit fiddly at first, but you soon get into a rhythm. I found it helpful to lean the side panels against a high back chair so that I could get access to both sides. To avoid cross-threading the nuts and bolts, try rotating the nut counterclockwise until it clicks onto the thread, and then proceed clockwise. If you can't do it with your fingers, it's probably not right, so loosen it and try again to avoid cross-threading the bolts. Now, I fixed the nuts, washers and bolts finger tight at first until the whole thing was assembled. This gives some flexibility when making adjustments and aligning the bolt holes. I assembled the sides first and then the ends. Then I put the sides and ends together. The end panels, the bendy bits, are supposed to fit outside of the side panels. The rubberized protection strip fits the whole way around the top, and it's quite easy to push on once you get started. However, it is more difficult to get over the double thickness of panels where they overlap. That's where the flat-headed screwdriver comes in handy. It just needs a little bit of gentle persuasion. There was a spare bit of rubberized strip at the end, and it has a metal core, so good scissors or wire cutters are required. Now, I noticed that the whole thing really did start to feel much more robust and solid and rigid after I'd started tightening the nuts. I'm left in no doubt that this raised bed is robust enough to be fit for purpose. The point behind the powered screwdriver is to speed up the process of tightening. Fix the bolts with the wrench inside and then tighten from the outside using the driver. There is no need to over tighten. You can roll the raised bed onto its side to get access to the lower nuts and bolts if you can't reach them. Now I presume the braces are to prevent bellying out of the bed when it's filled. Now, in my instructions, I found that there was no clear guidance on where to put the bracing rods. However, Vegega were very helpful and they sent me a link to their full instruction manual, which I'll put in the description box below this video. It really is pretty straightforward. You've just got to get the position right depending on the configuration of raised bed that you purchase. And hey presto, you've got yourself a lovely raised bed. Robust, easy to assemble, capacious and attractive. In my next Vegega raised bed video, I'll be giving you some tips on how to fill this raised bed efficiently. There's quite a lot of volume in there to fill, and I'll link that video at the end of this one.